In this playground, we're going to be looking at two of the collection types in Swift, the array and the dictionary. So let's start off with the array. Now, an array is a variable that allows us to group values together. Generally, these values are related or closely tied together. So in this situation, we've got my number list, and we've said my number list is assigned the values 11, 12, 13, and 14. Now we know it's an array because we've used the square brackets in defining it with the values. Now in Swift, when we're accessing an array, we access it by the index number. The index number is the place where something is located within the array. So, for instance, I'm going to print something out from my number list. So I've gone print my number list. Now, if I want to print the entire array, I can just leave it like that and go run. And we have there 11, 12, 13, and 14. So it's printed out very nicely for us, the entire array. But I might only want to access the first element, which, remembering in Swift we start counting from 0, so the very first element in my array is located at position 0. So let's run this and see what we get. We get 11. Fantastic. I might want to get the last element, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So let's change this over to 3 and we go run. And there we have the number 14 has been printed out. So with arrays come a whole list of operations that can be performed on them. And you'll see in the slides that we provided a table that has a few of the operations that can be used. So another one of the operations is one that tells us how long our list is. Now this comes in really handy if I've been bringing data in from somewhere else and I've stored them within our array and I'm not exactly sure how much data is in it. So for now, I'm just going to print out the list length, the array length. So print my number list, and now I go dot. So I use the dot operator, and you see I get a whole lot of information, and I want to know the count. So I say print my number list dot count. And now let's run the code, and you see we got a value of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 items in our array. Now, one of the other operations we can perform on an array is adding something to it. We want to add an item to it. So to do that, what I'm going to do is use the append operation. So I'm going to say my number list dot append, and you see what comes up there, new element, integer. So it knows the array contains integers. So we go with that one, and I go 87. I want to add 87 to it. Let's run my code, and you go, big deal, David, I don't see anything has happened. Okay, let's go print, and I want to print my number list again. And now let's run it and see what we get. There we have it. At the end of the list, we have the number 87. We have appended that to the end of the list. So we've now added something to our array, that variable called myNumberList, which is an array. But now I want to remove something from it. So I'm going to go myNumberList, so the name of my array, dot, and again, Xcode beautifully displays different things that we can do. And in this case, I want to remove. So I'm going to remove the last thing in the array. And now let's run that code. And voila! What? You say, David, there's nothing changed. Well, maybe there is, but what we haven't done is we haven't displayed the values within the array. So let's now go print, and we want to print out our array, which is called myNumberList. And let's run the code, and there we have it. We have removed the very last item from the array. It's gone because we used that operation, remove last. Now there are a lot of other operations that we can use, but I'm going to leave it there and let you explore some of those operations yourself.